Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a story that has captivated and terrified audiences for years. Coraline. Many of you know it as the creepy, button-eyed stop-motion film from 2009, or maybe you've read Neil Gaiman's original novella. But what if I told you the inspiration behind this dark fairy tale might be rooted in a real and equally chilling local legend? Let's unravel the mystery. Our journey begins not in Hollywood, but in a small town in Oregon, where Neil Gaiman once lived. The story goes that Gaiman was inspired by a local legend he heard from his neighbors. It's a tale that has been passed down through generations, a cautionary story whispered to children to keep them from wandering too far from home. This legend speaks of a mysterious old woman who lived in an isolated house at the edge of the woods. They called her the Button-Eyed Witch. According to the folklore, she was a lonely figure who longed for the company of children. She would lure them to her home with promises of delicious treats, fascinating toys, and a world where all their wishes would come true. The house itself was said to be magical, appearing perfectly normal from the outside but containing a hidden, more vibrant world within. Sounds familiar, right? But this magical world came with a terrible price. The legend says that to stay in this perfect place, the children had to make a choice. They had to let the old woman sew buttons over their eyes, forever binding them to her world and severing their connection to their own families. She didn't want their love. She wanted their souls, their very essence, to keep her young and powerful. The most famous version of this legend centers on a young girl named Coraline. Yes, the name itself is part of the folklore. This real-life Coraline was said to be a curious and adventurous girl who felt neglected by her busy parents. One day, while exploring the woods near her new home, she stumbled upon the old woman's house. Just like in the story we know, she was drawn in by the promise of a better, more exciting life. Her other mother, as the witch presented herself, showered her with attention. The food was better, the toys were magical, and she was the center of this new universe. But Coraline was clever. She noticed that the other children in the house, the ones who had already accepted the witch's offer, were pale, silent, and had buttons sewn over their eyes. They were like ghosts, trapped between worlds. Realizing the terrifying truth, Coraline knew she had to escape. The legend says she challenged the witch to a game, a contest of wits. If Coraline could find the souls of the other trapped children and identify her real parents from a lineup, the witch would have to let them all go. It was an incredibly brave but dangerous gamble. The tale describes Coraline's harrowing search through the twisted, magical world the witch had created. She had to outsmart talking animals with sinister intentions and navigate a garden of monstrous, grasping plants. She used her intelligence and courage to find the lost souls, which were hidden in plain sight as ordinary objects. A marble, a toy, a stone. The final challenge was the most difficult. The witch presented Coraline with two sets of parents, both looking identical to her own. But Coraline remembered a small, loving detail about her real mother that the witch couldn't possibly replicate. By pointing out this detail, she won the game. But the witch, being a creature of pure evil, wasn't going to let her go that easily. A frantic chase ensued. Coraline, clutching the souls of the ghost children, fled back through the magical corridor as the witch's world crumbled around her. She managed to slam the door shut, trapping the witch's disembodied hand in the process. With the help of a black cat, a recurring figure in the legend, she finally managed to defeat the witch's lingering presence by trapping her severed hand in an old well. Now, how much of this is fact and how much is fiction? That's the fascinating part. While there's no official record of a button-eyed witch or a historical Coraline who fought her, the story has deep roots in the folklore of the Pacific Northwest. Folklorists believe it's a classic boogeyman tale, a story created by communities to explain the unexplainable and to teach important lessons. These kinds of stories often serve as warnings, In this case, it is a warning to children about the dangers of talking to strangers and the allure of things that seem too good to be true. It also serves as a reminder to parents to pay attention to their children, lest they seek comfort and validation elsewhere. Neil Gaiman himself has spoken about the origins of Coraline. He's mentioned that the idea sparked from mishearing his daughter's name, Holly, as Coraline, and from a creepy old house he lived near that had a bricked-up door leading nowhere. He masterfully wove these elements together with the feeling of local ghost stories and classic fairy tales to create the masterpiece we know today. So while the story of Coraline might not be a true story in the historical sense, it is absolutely true to the spirit of folklore. It's a story that taps into our deepest childhood fears, the fear of being unloved, the fear of losing our identity, and the fear that the people we trust most might not be who they seem. The enduring power of Coraline lies in this blend of the real and the fantastical. It takes a relatable childhood feeling, neglect, and blows it up into a life-or-death struggle against a monstrous entity. Whether it's a real legend or a brilliant creation, the story of the girl who fought the other mother continues to haunt our imaginations. It reminds us to be brave, to be clever, and to appreciate the imperfect but real love of our families. What do you guys think? Do you believe the legend of the button-eyed witch is real? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the stories behind our favorite stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.